JP Morgan, a geopolitical anxiety index to track complacency and fear. USAF B-1B Lancer bombers on Guam stand ready to fulfill USFK's flight tonight mission if called upon to do so. Gold, take a look at this, 1285.75 when I checked last. And on the 18th of April I wrote about how gold has the potential to go nuclear. The purest geopolitical proxy in the markets is gold. As Ben Bernanke once said, people hold gold as protection against what we call tail risks, really, really bad outcomes. And I was writing then, when was that? Let's have a look. It was in April 2017, and gold closed the week then at a 6-week high of 1285. And I said it has the potential to go nuclear. We're back at that level as it is right now. North Korea vows mercilessly to wipe out the provocateurs, says US will suffer a shameful defeat. Trump says, let's see what he does with Guam. If he attacks Guam, it will be an event the likes of which nobody's ever seen before in North Korea, he said. The US took control of Guam in 1898 when Spanish authorities surrendered to the US Navy. Korean stocks have taken fright, on track for the worst day since the US elections. Kospi 200 volatility index spikes to the highest in 14 months. You will remember my piece from November 2010 about the Hermit Kingdom, and in that article I asked, did you know that the South Korean president has a military war room and an economic war room? And they say he spends more time in the economic war room. And that time was very interesting. In 2010, I follow all kinds of tapes, and the South Korean market was very interesting. About 5 working days before the whole thing blew at that time, somebody sold more than $1 billion worth of South Korean equities seconds before the close. Not one commentator connected those dots. That piece, I think, is still relevant if I can just touch on a few bits from the Hermit Kingdom. Far away in distant lands lies the Hermit Kingdom. This land is ruled by the House of Kim, and its capital is Pyongyang. The first and eternal president was Kim Il-sung, and his successor, Kim Jong-il, whose designated successor, I was writing this in 2010, is Kim Jong-un. They have all had tiny little hands, like the elves and the shoemaker. This country has nuclear weapons. This is the point. And this is what he learned. He learned the lesson that if he didn't have a nuclear weapon, he'd be rolled over like Saddam and Muammar. And this is why it makes it a much more dangerous confrontation. We're not talking about a false claim. It's very real. The DPRK will deal a merciless military counterattack in any provocative act of intruding into its territorial waters in the future. Again, I'm taking you back to then. And I was talking then and saying that it wasn't really in China's interest to rein him in, because he is the buffer between 35,000 US soldiers, South Korea, etc., etc. And I think those points remain relevant.